Okay, so welcome everybody to Career Lounge Live, helping you to be a greater you. And this is a place designed for you, middle schoolers and high schooler students, so they can prepare for life after high school, which is so important. So failing to plan is planning to fail. So today's topic is refining destinations. So I encourage you to invite your friends to the Facebook group. If you are already a member, tag them into this live. If you're catching us in the replay, hashtag replay important so we know that you are here. So type it up in the chat box if you're here live, hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. While we wait for others to join, I want to say thank you to everybody for being here. Let us know if you're watching live, where you're watching us and all that. We want to know that you are here with all of us. So special thanks to Career Lounge Live sponsors, which is EXL, a leading data analytic and digital operations and solutions company. So if you want to learn more about them, you can go to www.exlservice.com. So thanks to their sponsorship, we are able to bring this lounge to you at no cost, which is super important. So thank you once again for joining in. Invite your friends to the Facebook group. You can also go to our YouTube page to see the replay of this session today. So remember, if you're catching us in the replay, hashtag replay in the chat box so we know that you are here. So my name is Dali Perez, and I represent today Love Our Youth. Love Our Youth is a 501c3 nonprofit organization providing programs for youth through Central Florida. And our mission is to encourage the youth to embrace their self-worth. That's super important, and that they can value life lessons in order to maximize their potential. Because everybody has their potential, but you have to maximize it so you can go through those goals and then achieve what you want to do in life. So today we're going to discuss things to consider before choosing an occupation, which is so important because sometimes we want to do something and we really do not know what we're facing. So we're going to discuss why it's so important and why those reasons are important for you to learn about that occupation that you want to pursue. But before we kick off today's topic, we want to present you our facilitators for today, and we want you to know who they are. So thank you so much, Mr. David and Mr. Munich. So if you can go ahead and let us know a little bit about yourself. Why did you choose your current career, mission, goals, why you are there, what you're doing, so we can know a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Thank you, Delhi. And thank you, everyone, for joining. It's a great honor to be here. If we can be of any help, if we can guide you in any sense, I think that would be a privilege. So I will go ahead first, David, if that's okay. I'll just quickly share my background. And I'll also share a little bit background, a little bit extensively, so you can relate to today's topic. So my name is Munish Mahajan. I was born in India, and I got my degree in software development. And early days, I wanted to have a career in sports. I was very good in sports, and I just used to be out in the fields all the time. And at that point in time, I used to dream of participating in Olympics. I used to visualize I'm representing my country, traveling to the host countries. And when I used to watch Olympics, I used to see sometimes China is hosting, Australia is hosting, there are European countries. So I always wanted to go there. Few years later, I wanted to become a pilot. And then I wanted to visit different airports, different countries, stay in fancy hotels. There was a time, believe it or not, I actually wanted to work in some fancy resorts as well and just enjoy their facilities, their private beach, pool, restaurants, meet and greet, all the guests of different nationalities, diverse backgrounds. And then early in my career, I started traveling and I got to travel to various countries like UK, Australia, Canada, Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand, Japan. Then that was the moment I realized that all this while, it was not the job that pilot or a sportsman. It was the underlying interest that I had, which was really traveling, meeting people, and building relationships. That's all I wanted to do. So apparently, I was looking for this in various jobs. And I always used to get fascinated with jobs that involved these three elements. Wherever there was travel, wherever there was an opportunity to meet with various people and just build relationships with them. My current job with EXL as a senior vice president of client relationships, that's exactly what I do. Believe it or not, there are days, there have been several months, I take 6 flights a week on an average. I'm always at the airport. I spend more time in hotels, less time at home. COVID did provide some relief, but I travel extensively. And in my current job, I look after client relationships. So that allows me to build relationships, both professional as well as personal friend. And then few years, almost like 10 years back, I got fascinated towards technology. And nowadays you hear about metaverse, you hear about blockchain. So I was thinking maybe I should spend more time, but even in my current job, that's exactly what I do. So I travel, I meet with people, and I talk about technology. So really, what I'm doing is what I've always wanted to do, what I wished for, and I'm getting paid for that. So my heart is in it, and hence I'm very self-motivated, and I really enjoy what I do. So that's really my background. I'm now based in Long Island, New York. Thank you, David.
Thanks, Manish. So, oddly enough, Manish and I have similar stories. So, I was actually born in Korea. So, my mother's Korean, my dad's American. He worked for Raytheon Corporation. He was on a contract in Korea where he met my mom. And then, as a child, I wanted to be a professional athlete. I wanted to be a wide receiver in the NFL. And then I grew up and couldn't weigh more than 145 pounds. So that dream was gone. So then I wanted to be a fighter pilot, and I wanted to fly the F-16 because I just thought that was the coolest plane in the world. And then I needed glasses, so that dream was gone. So part of what we're talking about here is how do you set yourself up to continue to pursue your dream and achieve your objectives? Well, I'm probably the most poor example that you could possibly have for that, because after high school, I went to college. My plan was to major in political science and become a lawyer. And then after 3 semesters and about a 1.8 GPA, kind of figured out that probably wasn't going to happen anytime soon. So I joined the military, and I spent 14 years in the Air Force on active duty. And while I was in the Air Force, I kind of discovered what it was that really worked for me, and that was technology. So while I was in the Air Force, I was able to get my bachelor's degree in information systems, and then I got an MBA, and then I left the Air Force and began work in technology. And so I've been working in technology for, inside and outside the Air Force, I've been in technology for over 30 years. And along the way, I kind of learned that talking to folks and, trying to help them understand what it is that they need to run their business and to identify solutions that will help them with their business, and aligning where my company had capabilities that helped them was something that I was kind of good at. So it kind of led me to my career where I'm at right now, which I work for Manish. Manish is my boss, and I'm a vice president with EXL in client management. And similar to Manish, on a smaller scale though, I work with my clients to align the things that we can do as EXL for them to help them advance their business. I don't travel as much as Manish. I don't spend six flights a week, maybe a couple, but nevertheless, I also had the travel bug as a young person, and I think the last time I counted, I think my country count was like 38 countries and I think 48 states. So I think there's 2 states I haven't been to. And, as Manish said, I mean, I get the opportunity to travel, meet with folks, help them advance their business. And it's a satisfying occupation. I actually, when I was younger, didn't know that this was actually a thing. I didn't realize that this was an opportunity. It wasn't until I got into my career where I started after I left the Air Force with IBM, working in technology, that I learned that it actually is a thing, and it's worked out. So I've got a job that I really enjoy. I get to work with fantastic people, both within my own company and with my clients. And when we help solve business problems, which is really what we do, there's a great deal of satisfaction in that.
And that's amazing that both of you can share those experiences, because that's precisely the topic for today, refining the destination. So sometimes we think that we want something and that's just part of what we like, but not necessarily that's the path that we should follow. And that's exactly what happened to you guys, that you went to discover different type of stuff until you find what you really are passionate about. So I'm so excited for what you guys are going to bring to the table today, for all the students that are already connected with us through the Zoom, and to those students that will watch us after on YouTube. So I want to encourage you guys that are here connected. All of you, thank you, first of all, for being here. The students in the Zoom, you can ask questions in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself if you want to ask any questions. They're here for you, precisely for that, to give you their knowledge, their experience from all these years, so you can have a little bit more information in order to guide you to take that choice for your future. So just guide us through that process and give us all your knowledge.
Sure. And I will say this, that all of you who have joined, just think of David and me as, somebody who was there actually several years ago, exactly where you are. So we didn't come from different world. We've traveled the same path. We were also very curious, uncertain, confused at one point in time. We always were looking for direction. This is really your time. We can certainly share our experiences. We can certainly share what we have learned, what has worked for us. We can talk about all of that. But I think it will be really, really useful. If there is a specific question you have, you can put it in the chat. You can just, unmute yourself, ask. We can do both. And if you feel you don't want to ask question, we'll just continue to share. We can certainly do that.
We're both very good at just talking.
Say again?
So we're both very good at just talking.
That is true. That is true. We do want to give a chance. So let's
Absolutely.
pause. Let's ask, maybe, we give a pause for a few seconds. Anybody has any questions so far, either on our background, our experience, or is there anything you want us to touch upon in this session before we start sharing, the importance of maybe career planning?
Well, I will say one thing, and that is I remember from the last time I participated in one of these events that Danique was in that call. So thanks. It's nice to see you again, Danique.
It's nice to see you too.
Thank you.
So any questions, any takers, any volunteers?
So I'll just lead off with something real quick too, Manish, and that is, both Manish and I obviously have children. Well, I shouldn't say obviously, but we both have children. Mine are substantially older than Manish's. And so, it's been a little while since mine had been in the place where most of you are probably at right now, which is, in some ways trying to figure out what's your career path, what are your career choices, what direction do you want to take in life, right? And, there are so many questions that you probably want to try to get answers to, and it's difficult. It's hard to do. And my kids went through that, not terribly long ago. And I think, one of the things that I would offer is, first off, If we can help in any way, that's why we're here, to offer, whatever benefit we can provide from our experiences. But I'll also say that if you're trying to put pressure on yourself to figure it out right now, you're putting too much pressure on yourself. It's certainly a good idea to understand what it is that you like, know what it is that you're interested in, because those things will guide you in, the right direction. As you heard, Manish and I talk about, there were certain things that we kind of learned about ourselves, about what it is that really interested us and, really kind of motivated us. And that kind of helped guide us to where we're at now. So, and in my case, it was a very circuitous route. I did a number of things before I actually joined the Air Force. One of them was joining the Army. So I was in the Army before I was in the Air Force. I couldn't even make up my mind which branch of the military I wanted to be in. So, so all I'm trying to say is that if you don't think you have it figured out and you're trying to put pressure on yourselves to get it figured out, you're putting too much pressure on yourselves. Let yourselves be guided by what's interesting for you, what motivates you. And I think that'll ultimately help guide you in the right direction. Conversely, if you do have an idea of where it is that you want to go, and you do know, the best possible thing that I would say that you could do for yourself is to write down your plan. It's something that, a lot of folks kind of forget to do, but I will tell you from experience that when you write things down, when you write your plan down, it helps provide you with a North Star to keep you oriented in the right direction.
Yep, that's very good. Let me ask you this, guys. I know you are obviously thinking that career is important, and you are at an age, at a stage of your life where everybody is talking to you about career. But let me give you some stats. I'm not sure how many of you realize that 35 to 40% of your working time you will actually spend at workplace. So think of it like this, you have your home, you have your place, you have your friend circle, but then there is also, a place where you're going to spend, if you're going to spend 35 to 40% of your working time at a place, then that place better be a place which you really enjoy. The environment, the colleagues, the day-to-day routine, etc., of how you will want to look like that place like. And it becomes extremely important because that determines your lifestyle. If you are doing something which is not of your interest, if it doesn't allow you to leverage your skills, your interest areas, then you will get bored pretty quickly, and then you'll have to drag yourself. On the other hand, if you end up going to a workplace where you're doing something that you like, you're leveraging your skills, you're doing things of your interest, it doesn't really feel like work anymore. It just feels like that you're just enjoying your life. And I always say this, that we have two families, one at home and one at work. And by the way, I literally had that because I met my wife at work. So I literally had my family at work. That's where we met. Her name is Irina, by the way. So, but anyway. So, let me ask you this. When I was very young, there was an exercise that one of my mentors did with me, which was pretty interesting, but it required little bit participation. So are you guys, willing to do that? You just have to maybe type your responses in chat. They have access to chat, right? They can type in the chat.
Yes, they do. They
Okay,
can.
so let me see.
Applause.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to ask you questions, and if you can just type in chat that, are you willing to participate? I see Ria saying yes. So just let me know that, and I'm not going to ask you to give a speech or make some comments. It's going to be almost like a narrator story, and then probably ask you some questions. If you guys think that can be of interest, then just type in chat that yes, you are willing to do that, and we can take that route. Let me see. Okay, Ria's good, perfect. So let's do that. And this is related to how I started focusing on my career planning. So it's a very short story. So I'm going to narrate that story. And then in the end, I'm going to ask 2-3 questions. So the story goes like this. So there is this man in mid-40s. He's pretty bored from day-to-day work, and it's a Sunday afternoon. He doesn't have anything to do. So he decides to go for a drive. So, he picks up his car, starts driving, assume he lives in New York, starts driving north. He keeps on driving, after about 2 hours of drive, he sees a beautiful house on the side of the road. It's so beautiful that he decides to stop and check out the house. He parks his car, knocks at the door. There is no response. He tries again, no response. He tries to open the door, and the door is open, so he just walks in. When he enters, he realizes that the house is actually beautiful, even from inside, the way it's furnished. And he starts admiring, looking around, and suddenly he's fixated on a beautiful painting that's on one of the walls. There is something about that painting that he doesn't like. And then he realizes the painting was slightly tilted. When everything is so perfect and that one thing is not fit, you want to fix that. So he decided to just fix the painting. And when he tried to do that, the painting actually fell on the floor. And it was a glass painting. So obviously it broke. And then he realized there was a piece of paper at the back of the painting. And he opened that paper, and the paper said, it's a map. It's a map. If you follow exact directions, it will lead you to fortune. Now he's thinking this is a joke and, whether to do it or not. But then he realizes he doesn't have anything to do. And the instructions probably were like the destination seemed about an hour away from that. So he thought, fine, I'll take my chance. I'll just follow the instructions. So he started doing that. So the first instruction said drive north for 30 minutes at 20 miles per hour. So he did that. Then it said turn right and then drive for 10 minutes for 45 miles an hour. He did that. And then it said turn left and then drive for 10 miles an hour for about 2 minutes. He did that. And then it said you will see a big tree on your right hand side about 100 feet away from the road. He saw that. He said, approach the tree facing south, 2 feet away from the tree, dig 3 feet under. He did that. And then it said, now you should see a box. And he found a box. I said, open the box. He opened the box and said, now you should see the treasure. And actually, he found the treasure, real treasure. Now, question time. There were 3 things in this story that had to go right for him to find the treasure. What was the first most important thing that you guys think that led him to this treasure? So anybody can chime in, speak, whatever. What's the first most important thing that led him to that treasure? What do you think? Priya,
I can't play, can I?
no, not yet. He went on a drive. I get it all the time. In fact, somebody said the fact that he drove north. What if he drove south? He would have. So drive was good, but not. Trying to fix the painting, you are close. But was the first something that had to be right? Being bored, good one, but still not there. So focus on treasure. He found the treasure. What's the first thing that led him to that treasure? Now that's the hint. What's the map? Exactly. The fact that he had a map. He was bored. Yes, he went to the house. He went for a drive. But the minute he had the map, only then he realized there was treasure somewhere. So the first most important thing was that he had a map. What's the second most important thing that had to be right that led him to the treasure? What was the second one? He had a map, fantastic. What did he do next that actually led him to the treasure? The second most important thing. The car. Well, good. Well, car is a good attempt, but something related. So he had a car. He followed the map. Okay, I'm gonna give it to you, Ria, because you're very close. What I was looking for, he followed the map exactly. And that is why I was stressing that 10 miles an hour for 12 minutes, 45 miles per hour for 3 minutes. So he followed the map. Not only he followed the map to the T. He followed exact directions that led him to the map. Now, the third one is the most difficult one, but let me see. I'll still give it a shot. I think now everybody can play. So he had a map. He followed the directions But what could have gone wrong? Because I'm sure all of you were thinking that he's really not going to get a treasure. I'm sure you were thinking in your mind, but he found the treasure. So what was the last and the most important thing that he actually found real treasure? What was the most important thing? He dug for it. That's part of the following instructions. So that was part of the instruction, right? That dig. So he did that. So he followed all the instructions and he found the treasure. But what was the most important thing? Well, he was determined. That's why he followed the directions. So if he wasn't determined, he probably wouldn't have followed. So he followed the directions. He had a map. Think of it like this. He had a map. Sometimes you get a map, you follow directions. Will you always get treasure? You go to a mall, you go somewhere in a park, you find a map, it says follow directions, you'll get treasure. You pick up the map, you start following directions, you might not get the treasure. Why is that? And why did this person get the treasure? Any guesses? Last one? Okay, I'm going to give it away. See, the reason some of you were in doubt that he will not find the treasure because you in your mind were thinking that the map is not authentic. You were thinking that it's a fake map. And the reason he got the treasure was because it was an authentic map. So he had a map, he followed exact directions, and the map was authentic. And that is why he found the treasure. Now apply this for your career planning. You want to become a doctor, you want to become a pilot, you want to serve in the army, you want to travel north. That's a goal, that's your treasure. But what will lead you to that treasure is the map. And the map is nothing but it's a planning, it's the set of directions. It will tell you what skills you need, what kind of education you should have, what kind of experience you should have, what kind of characteristics you need to build to be able to get to your destination, which is your true career that you want to seek for. So the first thing is map. Second is you might find it, somebody might guide you, but it's on you to follow that. Just having the map is not enough. You'll have to follow the map with the directions. So you'll have to sign up for those courses, you'll have to spend time, you'll have to put in the hard work to follow that. And last and most important thing, the reason I brought this story was we lived in a different world. We didn't have social media, we didn't have so many resources. We used to go to the library, we used to go to schools and universities and talk to teachers a lot. Nowadays, you have access to a lot of information online. And you always get these links, you can do this, you can do that. Your map has to be authentic. It has to be signed off by somebody who has the credibility, and it cannot be a source of information from internet. I'm not discouraging browsing. All I'm suggesting is intelligent browsing, because there can be a lot of content, but not everything is true, not everything is authentic. There's a lot of fake information, there's a lot of fake suggestions out there. So whatever you want to do, whatever you want to be in your career, just ensure that you have a map. You know that you will need to follow the map, but always ensure that your map is authentic. The last thing you want is you have a map, you follow directions, and you get there, and then you realize these were not the right set of directions. That's not a situation any one of us want to be in. Anyway, so that was the story, and I apply it everywhere in life. If you think about it, you decide to go for a vacation. That's what you do. First is you decide where you want to go. You want to go to Hawaii, you want to go to Europe, and then you create your own map. How are you going to go? You're going to take a plane, you're going to go by sea, you're going to drive, and then you follow it. You book the ticket. You actually go to the airport, you board the plane. These are all instructions. And then obviously, if you've done the planning right, you will reach Hawaii and not India because you didn't have the right map. So anyway, I'll pause there, and hopefully this will resonate. And again, like I said, this is all important because the more you plan, the better it becomes for you, because always keep in mind, setting goals is obviously the first step to turning, as they say, invisible into visible. Because now, like David was saying, writing down is extremely important. Till then, it's in your mind. but the minute you write it, it becomes visible. So goal setting is extremely, extremely, important, like writing it down and follow your passion. My suggestion is dream big. Don't curtail yourself. Just dream big, because I believe that being realistic is the most common path to mediocrity. If you will say, well, I'm going to be realistic, I'm only going to do this, chances are you'll do less than that. Dream big, dream absolutely bold. Then you need to prepare a plan. You need to have your own map, because the goal without a plan is just a wish. And before anything else, preparation is the key to success. So preparation is just getting your map. Trust me, an hour of planning can save you 10 hours of doing unnecessary work. And my last tip is, don't confuse plan with the goal. You set up a goal and you set up a plan. If the plan doesn't work, change the plan, not the goal. The goal still remains true. So dream big, plan well, work hard, and always smile, and you'll get where you are going.
That was a great allegory, Manish. I think that was fantastic. Before I start to weigh in and start running my mouth, did anybody have questions? Did anybody have comments or feedback? Did that kind of resonate with everybody? Because it certainly did with me. All right. I'm not sure if I don't want to be the first one to say something or not, but which is completely understandable. And, when Manish was saying dream big, and it's true, there is a saying, a person's reach should exceed their grasp. Say it again. Your reach should exceed your grasp. If you reach for the stars, maybe get the moon. Moon's not a bad prize, right? So dream big. Now, if you reach for the stars and you only get the moon, are you going to be disappointed? Maybe. That's a personal thing. All right. I've always tried to live by that my reach should exceed my grasp. All right. And, I've been fairly satisfied with, what I've actually been able to grab a hold of. But to Manish's point, the map may change. All right. And that's okay. Life is going to hand you surprises. All right. You're going to have to take new paths to get to where you want. Right. But if you keep that goal in mind, if you never let that goal go, all right, you will always have something to motivate you. You will always have your reason why. Right. And your reason why is important. It can be obviously more than just what that objective is. What motivates you? Is it family? I mean, it's going to change over time. All right. I mean, right now, maybe it's just graduating high school and getting into college, and then it's going to be graduating college, right? And it's going to be landing your first job. These things will change over time. All right. But if you have an overarching objective, an overarching goal, maybe it's, you want to be CEO someday of some company. It's not a bad goal to have. It's not a bad objective. And that should inform your roadmap, right? It should tell you, how do you build that roadmap? Well, maybe the roadmap says, I want to be a CEO, so I'm going to go in finance. I'm going to become a CPA, and I'm going to become a financial expert and move up the CFO ranks and become a CEO. Well, then maybe you find out that numbers aren't really your thing. So maybe you go to marketing, but you still want to be a CEO. The point is regardless of, what life hands you, all right, if you stay focused and you stay committed, you will get there. You will get there.
All right. Again, like you said, it's your session, your time. Anything you guys want us to focus on? Anything you want us to talk about? Anything?
I just have a quick question for everybody, Manish. So can I just learn from, in the chat box, how many of the participants are in middle school and how many are in high school? If you guys don't mind sharing that. Great. Great. Thank you, everybody. So for those who shared, thank you. So for those of you in high school, How many of you are starting to evaluate colleges and trying to determine what it is you might want to go to college for, or where you might want to go to college, or what your interest is in college? And I should ask first, how many of you who are in high school want to go to college? Because not everybody does, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly okay for those who don't want to go into higher education, but want to do something that is, maybe more trade oriented or practical. There's plenty of people who do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. So for the folks that are in high school, can you just kind of like raise your hands for those of you who are planning to go on to college? Great. That's awesome, Danique. So, and I'm sure you're going to regret raising your hand. Okay, everybody, that's great. That's great. Thank you, everybody, for communicating that. So, kind of back to the theme that we had today. Have you all kind of laid out your roadmap for college? Have you determined the courses you need to take, the grades you need to get, the SAT scores you need to get, the colleges that are good schools for what it is you're interested in? Have you guys started doing that process? Oh, that's great. That's great, Diana. So, kind of in keeping with our theme tonight, all right, what I would offer to all of you, for those of you who do want to go into college, and it's all of you pretty much that are planning to go to college, if you don't already have your roadmap, if you don't already have, your plan, start doing it and write it down. As we've been saying, it's amazing. And I know it sounds kind of hokey and corny and whatever, but I think you'll really find out that when you actually write it down, that it will make a difference. It will make a difference because you have a physical reminder, you have a manifestation of what it is that you want right in front of you. And I'll tell you, when I was going to college, that's exactly what I did. I wrote down my roadmap. What courses did I need to take? What were my prerequisites? How many credits did I need in this subject area? How many did I need in that area? And I kept it up. And that helped to motivate me, I think, probably more than almost anything else probably could have, because I had to look at it on a regular basis. I saw, on a recurring basis, what my progress was against my plan, and it helped to keep me motivated. So I would offer that to you. And Diana, congratulations. So Manish, I don't know if you want to say any final words before you have to drop.
No, all I'll say is, it's very encouraging to see so many students, first of all, dialing in, joining, participating, asking questions. Like I said, we've gone through this journey. We were exactly where you are today, although several years ago, but we know what it feels. And hence we have the urge to share everything that we can, because we learned some of the things the hard way. And today, I'm sure when somebody asks, if you replay your life, what are the things that you will do differently? So I'll absolutely, one of the things will be that I'll be much more careful in planning ahead. I would like to solicit a lot of feedback. I would like to take a lot of recommendations. I will spend a lot of time with people who have been there. So I would take a lot of inputs in understanding what I really want to do, because whatever you want to do, sometimes you have half information, but the minute you get the full picture, it can change your opinion. And you might dislike something that you thought you liked, or you really like a lot something that you thought was not your cup of tea. So a lot of preparation, a lot of research, a lot of participation will always be helpful. But like I said, listen to your heart, stay close to the reality in terms of always watch the trends. For example, it's a no-brainer that technology, analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, that seems to be the trend where it will go. But then there is also another world of artists and singers and dancers and poets and sketchers. So then there is sports. So yes, keep up with the trend, but always see, where is it that you like? Where is what inspires you? When you get up, if you have to do the same thing every day again for the rest of your life, what would that thing be? And trust me, there is a path for everyone. There's a path for everything. Just dream big, like I said, and hopefully you'll get there. And we are all here. Career Youth has been phenomenal, so you can reach out to them directly. They can always tap on to us. And we are, just so you guys know, we are like 44,000 people globally. I'm sure we can find a few who can talk to you every now and then. So all the best. I need to drop, like I put it in my chat. I have a 7 p.m. meeting, but thank you very much. Delhi, thank you so much, and all the best to everyone. David, I'm sure you'll continue.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Manish.
much, Manish, for being here and for sharing. I know all of the students that are here are gonna remember that story of the map and the tree and all that, because I'm gonna remember it. So I know they will remember. So thank you so much for being here today.
Of course, welcome. And thank you for your time. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
See you, Manish.
Bye.
So guys, I'm sorry, I don't have cool stories like Manish does, cool allegories. But I do have pretty broad experience. As I said, my career has covered a number of different areas. I spent a lot of time in the military. I've been in technology. I've been in consulting. I've even been, a bank teller and a tree trimmer. So I did those things before I went in the military. So, it kind of does not serve the theme of the evening, all right, which is, how do you stay on target for where you want to get to? And the truth of the matter is that I didn't really have a great target. Once the fighter pilot thing was gone, I was like, I don't know what I do now. So, there's two messages there. One, if you've got an idea of what it is that you want to do, great, you're ahead of the game. All right. But if you don't, you don't have to worry, because you'll find it. You will find it. What's important is that you continue to chase your objectives. You continue to chase your goals. And I don't want to say dreams, because dreams are things that maybe don't come true and maybe aren't real, and they're kind of fuzzy. All right. But I will say objectives. And if you make your dreams your objectives, then there's nothing wrong with that. But to me, and this is just me, making it an objective makes it more real than saying it's a dream. So you guys have listened to Manish and I talk an awful lot tonight. And I don't know if we've even given you enough time to talk back, but I would certainly, like to give you guys the opportunity to ask questions or say what's on your mind, or if you've got a quandary that you're dealing with, maybe we can, help you work your way through it. So I'll kind of open it up to all of you. And by the way, Evan, you're in trouble, man. You're the only dude here with all these young women. So you got some work to keep up.
Yeah. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions, or if you don't want to talk through the microphone, you can drop it in the chat box. But definitely has been, we have a question there. It says, how do you know what you want to do? Yeah,
Rhea, I'll be honest. I mean, in high school, after realizing I couldn't be a pro football player and that I couldn't be a fighter pilot, I didn't really know, I'll be honest, which is kind of why, I kind of wandered a little bit. And it wasn't until I had a job where I started working with computers that I realized, hey, this is something that I actually kind of like doing and I'm kind of good at. So sometimes it's just serendipity. Sometimes you just fall into it. And there's a saying, don't let don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, right? And you've probably heard that, all right? And all it really means is, if you're searching for the perfect answer, you're probably going to keep searching, all right? If you've got a good answer, which is it's something you enjoy, it's something you can make a living at doing, it's something that keeps you engaged and interested, maybe that's good enough. Thanks for the question.
Awesome. And I think we'll build in different ways, and we all like different kinds of stuff, and maybe exploring on those areas, like trying something like a small class or something like that within those interests that you have. And maybe you will find like, I like that, but more for a hobby and not for to pursue a career. And maybe exploring all those areas of things you like and see like, well, I like this for a hobby, not for a lifetime and stuff like that. And maybe you will, get to the point like David and Monish, like after all those years, they found something that they really love and they really passionate about. And that could be from here to 10 years to 15 years, but I think there's time. Well, time is what we got to explore. Maybe it's not gonna be 1 year or 2, but it could be in 10. Who knows? And you will find something that you really love and passionate about.
You're
I don't know
absolutely
if you
right.
guys- Yeah.
Yep, you're absolutely right, Dolly. I mean, just to be completely open about it, when I was in the Air Force, it took me until I was into my 30s to figure out really what it is that I wanted to do. When I was in the Air Force, I had some very interesting jobs. And I ended up going to England, and I went to England specifically because I wanted to become what's called a flight engineer on rescue helicopters. And what those guys do is, if we have a pilot or a crew, or there are soldiers who need to be rescued, that's what the rescue teams do. They go out there and pick them up. They find them, they pick them up, they bring them home. They save lives. And that's what I wanted to do. Along the way, I kind of found this computer and this technology thing, and that completely changed everything for me. So, it completely changed my life. I mean, if I had stayed on the path that I originally wanted to be on, frankly, I would not be where I'm at right now in terms of my career. So sometimes, as Dolly was saying, sometimes you find out things are just a hobby and you would rather do it as a hobby, but sometimes you find out your hobby is something you really like doing and you can make a profession of it. Because that's kind of what happened to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I just want to say thank you for your service,
Oh,
because
thank you.
you are the heroes of the country for sure. So thank you for all those years that you put in. And like you said, like those are process in life that you grow, and that could take you to where your profession is going to be, that you don't know from here to whatever years. So even though, don't think that if you do something that you're not going to pursue it for life, it's not a waste of time, because that's building up your character, that's building up your experience, and that will take you to the place that you're going to end up. So every experience in life, you will take it with you, and no one can take it away. That's what I say to my kids. Whatever you have here in your mind and in your experience, it doesn't matter where you go, you take it with you, and that will take you places. So
That's a great message, Dolly. That's a great message. If I would leave you with two things, it would be this. One, don't put pressure on yourself to have it figured out now. All right. If you've got it figured out, that's great. That's awesome. But don't feel like you have to have it figured out now. All right. That would be one. The second, the best thing that you can do is just grind it out. Whatever it is you're doing, work hard, give it everything you've got, and just keep grinding. And if you do those two things, all right, you'll find success. You will find success.
Awesome. So I don't know if you guys have any other questions, but I just want to recap this awesome session. I want to thank you, David and Manish, that already Popov, for all your experience and knowledge that you have, bring to us today. So basically, in a recap, like write down your plan. Remember that what you're gonna do, you're gonna spend that 30-40% of your time there. Remember, Munish found his other half at work. So keep that in mind. Maybe that happens to you. After you have your goal, your treasure that Munish talk about, you have to have your map. Okay. And so how are you gonna to get to that destination? Having the map is not enough. Okay. So you have to follow the direction. And most important, the map has to be authentic. Let yourself be guided for people that know, for professionals like David, like Munish, people that can tell you exactly what you need to do, not the internet. That's very, very important. And a goal without a plan is just a wish. I like that one very much. So don't let it be a wish. Just write that goal. Set up a goal, set up a plan. And if the plan doesn't work, what are we gonna do? Let's just change that plan. So the other thing that I like was your reach should exceed your rest. That's very, very important. If you stay focused and committed, you'll get there. And lastly, do not put that much of pressure on yourself. Just go step by step. You'll get there and keep grinding. So I think it's been an amazing session. A lot of tips that you can take to heart and put it to actions, because that's the most important. You have the information and then you have to put it to action. Don't stay with the information, just put it to action. And you know that the EXL people is here for you. So if you want to talk to someone, if you want to talk to David, to Munish, I know there will be more than happy to set up like a quick session with you guys personally to guide you to the process, and all the team from EXL are available for you guys because this is for you. They already been through that path and they want to guide you to that process. So before we end the session, David, I don't know if you want to, close with any final thoughts.
I do. Thank you, Dolly. And I want to thank all of you for the opportunity to come and speak with you. I mean, it's I think a tremendous credit to all of you and an indication of already the commitment that you have to yourselves, that you take the time to do this on, a weeknight evening. So thank you. And I, as Dolly said, am always available. I mean, I think working through Love Your Youth, they'll work with our company. If somebody wants to speak with us one-on-one, I'm always happy to do that. And best of luck to all of you.
Thank you so much. So remember, all of you, that we still have our sessions going on. So our next Career Lounge Live will be next Tuesday, March 7, 6 p.m. And the topic will be starting your course. So invite a youth, invite a friend, send them the link, so they can join live and they can ask questions, which is super, super, super helpful for all of this. So special thanks to Career Lounge Live sponsor, which is EXL, a leading data analytics and digital operations and solutions company. If you want to learn more about EXL, go to www.exlservice.com. So thanks again to you, David, to Munish, and thank for all of you for bringing this knowledge to all of our youth, our high schoolers that are connected here today, and to whoever is going to watch us through YouTube. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight, and see you next Tuesday in our next career session. So bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Good night.